My goodness, y'all. It is like just never ending, which I guess that's kind of the whole point, right? Like life is never ending until it's not, and then it's just not for you. It is for everything else. What a way to start this out. So apparently Sunday sermons are just not on Sundays anymore. They're on Tuesdays. But we're going to still call them Sunday sermons. Why? Because I can, and everything is kind of arbitrary. And these are my videos, and I do what I want, okay? So, what are we going to talk about on this Sunday sermon? I have no idea, okay? But it needs to happen. It needs to get done because consistency, practice what you preach, and I cannot critique if I'm not out here living the way I'm saying you should be living. So, Sunday, February 8th, which it is not, it is the 10th. But the films of last week are The Women from 1942. 1939, not even 42, 1939, man, phenomenal film. Okay, so The Women from 1939, do not even bother watching the remade version with Meg Ryan, okay, is ass, is terrible. Do not sully your mind, your memory inputs with that, all right? Go all the way back to 1939 and watch the indomitable Norma Shearer and Joan Crawford battle it out in The Women. Okay, also featuring Rosalind Russell, who is just the best. I mean, this is an all-star cast of unbelievably talented women who shaped the film and entertainment industry. All right, so 10 out of 10 recommend The Women. Also just lives rent-free in my brain because of Adrienne, the costume designer for the film. I mean, it never gets old, all right? I watch it continuously. I do, in fact, watch it continuously. Also, American Psycho with Christian Bale. Phenomenal movie. Absolutely phenomenal. Books. So, books of the week, I've got... let me make sure I've got these authors loaded up. Okay, I'm pretty sure. So this is Guns of the South by Harry Turtledove. Highly recommend. Don't judge a book by it, or do judge a book by its cover. It's great, and it's going to surprise you. Also, here we go. We've got Tom Robbins with Villa Incognito, a fellow North Carolinian. I love all of his books that I've read so far, and I've read quite a few. But those are our books of the week. Music of the week is Beethoven. All right, pick anything by Beethoven. Go on to, greatest hits list, YouTube, Spotify, whatever, record store, pick up some Beethoven. I guarantee you're going to like it. There's not a lick of it that's bad. And it is always relevant. And if you're feeling a little more modern, then I recommend the Venga Boys. All right. Yeah, another one. I don't know if they've got a bad bop. I really don't. And who's our shout out to? Our shout out to this week are conspiracy theorists. I mean, shout out, win of the week in the quantum verse goes to conspiracy theorists, just overall. I mean, other than Flat Earth. I mean, Flat Earth, y'all really got left out of this one. But, I mean, nobody but you is surprised. So, it's been wild. Yeah. And again, part of why we're late is because so much is continuously happening, and I have not done my homework on Mr. Ralph Waldo Emerson yet. So here we are with me having no sermon on my Sunday that's not a Sunday. Yeah, I apologize. Complete and abject failure on my end, and I admit that. So, speaking of that, do I have any other notes? I've been making notes of things that I kind of want to talk about. Oh, yes. Okay, so in case you've been living under a rock, our classy and trashy notes of the week are, so universally recognized forms of trashy behavior, okay, are, first off, not picking up your dog poo, okay? Yes, I'm talking to you, sir. I just watched you. I watched you do it, okay? Are one of the single greatest contributors to the downfall of our society, okay, as a whole. You that do not pick up your dog's steaming pile of shit, despite living in an urban environment and it lingering because there are no earthworms, darlings, in New York City to devour this detritus that you are choosing to leave in the path of any wayward son who happens to come down the street minding their own business. Okay? I don't care if it is a snowstorm. The fact that we have to live surrounded by piss-covered mountains of trash is enough without you adding your dog turds to it, okay? Don't be a retard. Pick your dog shit up, or don't have a dog. So that's number one. Clearly, I feel a type of way about it, but this man's in our neighborhood has, and I will find out who this man is. Okay, we're going to be plastering his face around the neighborhood. You will know who this man is, because it's repulsive. You do not have 2 mastiffs in New York frickin' City and not pick up their dog poo, especially the number of times that you go and take your dogs on a walk, all right? This is disgusting. And then what are our other trashy notes of the week? Oh, some of you really, what disgusts me, and I guess we don't know where this rant is going to take me, okay? So maybe this is the sermon. Maybe the sermon this particular Sunday, not a Sunday, is about our core message here at the Foxworth School of Life and Salacious Fruit as a brand, as a ideology in general, okay? Classy, not trashy. And the dog poo thing, but also this one is bigger. This one is, you know what, let's get to the superficial one first, and then I'm going to circle back, because both of these things are tied to the Olympics, which it is so sad to me that we've reached a point where we really no longer have a collective way of communicating and sharing information the way that we used to, right? Like, was the PSYOP easier to manage for the squid people? Yeah, of course it was, right? But it also meant that there was a healthier collective identity for who we are as a nation and who we are as a country, because we are something. Like, and there's a reason why there's been this collective PSYOP to talk shit about the United States and to talk shit about who you are as a collective, right? And I mean that in the most base animalistic sense of the word, right? Because every nation is a collective of people and individuals who, as a greater whole, have an ideology and a dream and a vague sense of the future that coincides and allows for successful collective navigation through life in order to perpetuate what I'm always talking about, which is the continuation of the species and the individual, right? Which that's what reproduction is. Everything comes back to that little bitty amygdala lizard brain, like you gotta get it on and you gotta make it last, right? Like keep it alive and keep it safe, all right? And the collective identity that we share with our particular school of fish, right? Like if we think about it, and me and my dad were having a little chat about this the other day, actually, and about how from a macro perspective, we are not dissimilar from a school of fish, right? Or a flock of birds, or, a herd of buffalo, right? Like they have intrinsically understood signaling to each other that alerts the whole of what is happening at the peripheral with the individual, right? And then the group also acts as a unit based off of, collective inputs. And the way that we work as a nation is exactly the same, right? Like we are a collective school of humans who have decided that we're all going to generally pull in the same direction. Because if all of us get together and we all pull in this direction simultaneously, it's gonna, 100x our output, and thus the individual is gonna just flourish because the whole thing is doing really well, right? And that's the end goal of capitalism. That's the end goal of the United States as a functioning system, right? Because that's what we are, is we collectively as the United States are a system. And what we're finding out recently is that the management and the inputs for this system have been artificially skewed in certain directions in service of a group of individuals who have overtaken that, right? Like, and let's just be honest about it, right? It's your Bill Gates, it's your George Soros's, it's, every person that is, seriously implicated in, the Epstein files, right? So you've got heads of governments, you've got, the Clintons, you've got Obama. I mean, you've got everybody and their mother who was capable of influencing the global environment at a national level in any significant way. If you could be compromised, you were a part of this. And we're finding out now that that is what has happened to our system. And this is an unbelievably horrific thing to imagine and to have to grapple with because of the repercussions of this and of what the second, third, and fourth layers of effects are going to be in with all of this. But part of why this struggle is so violent, and it is violent, and it's been violent for a while, right? You can look back at the LA riots, you can look back at the history of really any riot in the United States, who it was, predominantly funded by, what it was in service of, and those who have benefited from it. It's all generally the same group and type of person. And there's a reason for that. And this is a terrifying situation to be in, right? But anyways, I've rambled on long enough about, the intentional psyop and degradation of of society in service of a few. Which is what always happens, right? But that's why it's up to, us collective school of fish to, snap back and redirect, right? It's why America as a concept is so successful. It's why we've been so successful in such a short amount of time compared to other nations and nationalities who have, been basically working at this game for a lot longer than we have, right? And it's because we are a force to be reckoned with. And again, me yammering on in these YouTube videos really is about trying to nail down what that is for myself, but also so that hopefully other people can reconnect with what it really means to be an American and be proud of, look, I brought myself full circle here, okay, and what it means to be proud of being an American. And which brings me back to what I wanted to talk about today, which is trashy behavior and shit talking on a global stage, okay? First of all, anybody with an ounce of class knows that whatever your deal might be with your family, with your friends, with the people you have to interact with on a daily basis, you don't go out and you don't talk shit in public, okay? You keep that shit in between you and them. Why? Because at the end of the day, that united front is all you have, okay? That's it. That's it. And for you to benefit so greatly from this country, and I mean, it blows my mind. It really does. This patently obvious, intentionally obtuse reaction to just not even being capable of recognizing your own privilege that's given to you by this system that you really love talking shit about in order to gain some kind of brownie point, which frankly, who are you earning brownie points from, and what are they going to get you, right? Because we all go about our life is nothing but the acquisition of skill points and, brownie points, kudos, karma points, whatever, with the people that we have to interact with on a day-to-day basis. And so if you're doing this, what are you going to get out of it, right? You shit talk your country. That is the very reason you're able to do what you're able to do. And the whole reason you're able to shit talk your country is because of what your country is and what your country provides to the world, frankly. I mean, if you were a woman in Afghanistan right now, you're no longer allowed to go to school. You're no longer allowed to get an education. You're also not allowed to speak in public. And in Iran, I mean, we're certainly over the 30,000 mark. I mean, I would say that 30,000 is probably a very conservative estimate of how many people have been killed in Iran right now. And yet you feel comfortable enough openly disparaging the country that has given you every opportunity in the world on an international stage with no repercussions. You think the Russians would let their? Do you think the Israelis? But you're allowed to do it to the U.S. this trashy behavior, y'all, is trashy behavior. You don't do it, all right? Like let's say this is some real talk relationship advice, which Nana was the one who told me this, okay? She said that your relationship is your relationship, and you can look to other people for advice, you can learn from other people, you can, share, you will always know what you should and shouldn't share, right? Or you should. But like, don't talk shit about your partner, right? Like, don't do it. And don't shit talk them in front of other people, right? Like, don't do it in public. You don't go out in public and when you're out with a bunch of friends while your partner is there and talk shit about them. All right? Like, you can fight it out at home. But, and that absolutely goes for shit talking your country. Like, this is just known trashy behavior. The fact that we're even having to like have this conversation, you have no idea how much it bothers me. No idea. All right. But anyways, and you know what? I went deep dive into the serious bits without landing on, pardon me, landing on my little superficial critique, okay? Because, we have to end it on a superficial, classy, not trashy note. But I do not remember what this ice skater's name is. She's one of the U.S. team's like female solo ice skaters. She competed last week. I think she did really well, actually. So kudos to her. Phenomenal job. You made it to the Olympics, baby. Like, props. Nothing but the flowers for you. My one note is, I know that the whole thing right now is like trying to be different and signifying your ideology in a supposedly avant-garde and biting way towards a scathing way towards the traditional mores and ideologies pushed by such a patriarchal society, right? So we're gonna go with a two-tone skunk bowl cut dye job at the Olympics with, a healthy scattering of facial piercings. There's a time and a place, babes. Like, there really is. I've got nothing against expressing yourself visually, but there's a time and a place, okay? And a lot of that has to do with presenting a uniform, united look along with your teammates, because you aren't just representing your individual self anymore. You're representing a nation. You're representing a culture. You're representing a whole, right? So, which also brings us back to why it's not acceptable to be talking shit, right? But anywho, when you do that, you are subsuming your personal identity in order to represent the whole. And the whole wants to tell you, I don't give a rat's ass how punk rock you think you are. That haircut looks horrible. The haircut looks horrible. The dye job is atrocious. And it is doing absolutely nothing for you. on any optical front, okay? Whatever the message is, which believe me, as a superficial stereotype guru, your message is not doing what you think it is, okay? And you need to take some advice, dye the whole thing solid, and if you're going to keep your facial piercings in, go with gold, darling. Go with gold. It's classy, it's delicate, and it's going to blend in with your skin tone instead of making you look like something that was swept out from underneath the sofa and happened to be caught up in the bum rush to the door. All right, because you deserve better than that, okay? You deserve more than going out on the largest arena provided for athletes and an opportunity that the 99.9% of us will never experience, and represent something as magnificent as the American dream and experiment on that global stage. And you did yourself the disservice of not showing up your best. Because there is an objective best and worst. There is, okay? No matter how alternative, punk rock, progressive, I don't even know. I don't know what it symbolizes anymore other than a, strange, pathologically driven desire to, drastically distance yourself from the way that you look naturally, right? But to each their own. This is the US of A, and if you feel like doing it, baby, then you go on and you do it, all right? But I want you to do it in the best way that is possible, all right? And in this situation, you done fucked up. You done fucked up. Even in pushing this aesthetic style, you fucked up. You fucked up. You could have shown the people that someone who prescribes to the life that you do and has the beliefs and the principles that you do is capable of going out and elevating themselves and elevating their stereotype to a higher level, right? It's like going Super Saiyan, right? Like, it's all about being able to, like, how can you continue to deliver the visual story that you want within the context and confines of various situations that call for different maneuverability, right? Because that's what this is. That's what dressing is. That's what self-style and presentation is. And you're doing it poorly. So I would suggest you just go with the classic punk flavor hair color, which would be really dark ebony, or based off of your skin tone, which I only saw the one video, I don't even remember your name, but based off of your skin tone, you could also be a really hot, like old school Mary Jane and Spider-Man kind of redhead, okay? So pick one of these really difficult for the rest of us to pull off hair colors, all right? And get a phenomenal cut, and then rock some gold piercing jewelry, all right? And it's gonna take you from like Dust Bunny under the sofa till like punk rock princess, okay? And don't even try and pretend to tell me that you don't want to be a punk rock princess, baby, okay? Because what are you at the Olympics for? Ice skating, all right? There's a way to do it, babies, and you're like this close, okay? But I can tell you right now, the normal person that watched you skate, it was incredibly difficult to watch you skate and not continuously think about that terrible dye job. But anyway, those are our classy, not trashy notes of the week. That's our Sunday, not Sunday sermon. And we kept that to like under 30 minutes just about. So yeah, there we go. Have a good one, y'all.